being right about something doesn't always mean that you're going to make the right decision.
We've underbid some accounts, like that's a $50,000 account. Well, it should be 75.
That legal experience to be right, which we ended up prevailing, cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal
That we never got back.
and we never got a penny of anything. This is one of those things, like the biggest mistake is that don't chase dollars, right? You got to chase good contracts. Everyone makes mistakes, and the worst part is you don't know that you're making them until it's too late. In this episode of the OctoClean Podcast, we're discussing the most common mistakes that people in our industry make. We'll be speaking from experience, obviously, so you can avoid some of these pitfalls that we've encountered. We've got a great episode for you today, so stick around until the very end. All right, so, Greg, this is a pretty cool topic. I mean, we got to be careful here because there's a lot of mistakes.
We always do say that, like we've made every mistake.
And
it happens, we're like, ooh, we haven't had that one.
Yeah, and so when this first question popped up that we're going to be answering, I was like, where do we start? And what should we never talk about unless it's behind closed doors? So if I sense that you're going to tell a story that we shouldn't say,
Was it mistletoe?
Mistletoe is the safe.
Mistletoe is a safe one.
Yeah. All right. So here's the first question. Now, remember, this is about making big mistakes that you can avoid.
Cleaning, business, legal mistakes, things like that.
So what are some of the biggest mistakes that OctoClean has made?
I think the biggest one that we could probably, for everyone, underbidding accounts.
Yeah.
I think would be if we say like, because we've underbid some accounts, like that's a $50,000 account. Well, it should be 75.
So I'm not going to say mistletoe on this one. That's really safe. I totally agree. But if we're just talking business,
what do you think some of the biggest?
Well, yeah, I think what you're saying is that not all money is good money.
No.
If you're walking in, and I always use it, so we're talking to real people every day. Franchise prospect yesterday talked to me about some account that he had with another company, and that they came to him as a franchisee, and they're like, "Hey, we've got this great account. It's $11,000 a month."
And that was like, ding, ding, ding.
And all they saw were dollar signs.
Goodness, 11,000.
Oh, dollars. And then they go to the location, and it's a 10-hour a day, 7 days a week, in a warehouse that once you start on one side and get all the way around to the other side, that's 10 hours. Can you imagine? Right? And so they can never hit the restrooms twice.
And so every day is going to be the first day.
So imagine the complaints that they got. Boatloads of complaints. And you're working people 10 hours a day.
So you're always in overtime. You're paying them to clean their building.
So, this is one of those things, like the biggest mistake is that don't chase dollars, right? You got to chase good contracts. Like you have to find good partnerships, good contracts, good money. Yeah, because that same account, like I was telling him, I was like, I would have split it up into 2 people, 8 hours on each side of the building. And then had a night crew doing something at night to support areas, and it would have ended up being a $20,000 account. And if they didn't want to pay for it,
more actually,
or more, and if they didn't want to pay for it, then Asta, see ya.
Yeah, because I remember Dad used to always say it: you can lose big or you can lose small, but it's still a loss.
Yes, I think another big, and if you're listening to this podcast, you're not going to make these mistakes because we talk about them all the time, but. Another big mistake that we've made is we didn't know jack about anything, and we went in and stripped floors at a building.
Empire Oil. They're not there.
They're not there anymore. Empire Oil.
God bless us.
We were young. For some of you that are listening to this now, this was before the internet. So it was a long time ago. And we Smart and Final strip. We got some stripper.
Was it even stripper?
I don't even know what it was. But let's just say a job that would take us now, maybe 4 hours?
Start to finish.
So 2 people, 4 hours.
We're in the truck gone.
Yeah. We were there 4 people.
All weekend.
And it still wasn't.
And it still wasn't
right, and we flooded their floor safe.
I remember having to walk into that dude's office. He was so pissed off. And I couldn't have been, I was what?
19?
Not even.
Oh, you weren't even in the military yet. That's right.
No, we were in high school.
You were in high school.
I think I was just out of middle school.
So the mistake that we made was that we didn't ask for help.
Why would Dad send me to go take care of that problem?
I don't know.
Huh.
What are you asking? That would be interesting to ask.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the mistake that we made is that we weren't willing to ask for help. Even though there were resources and people that we could have asked,
But I think that started our, like, hey, we can do better.
Yeah.
There are people to help.
And I just was reading something the other day, and it really hit home to me, and that's that if we're not good at something, right, we spend all of this time and effort to learn it just so we can do it half as well as a guy that we could pay to do it better.
Yep.
Right? And it's like, I mean, if you really hear that, you're like, okay, so I don't want to spend any money having somebody teach me how to do something. I'm going to learn on my own because there's plenty of resources online to do it, just so I can do it half as well as somebody else instead of paying them for their expertise.
Exactly.
And so, that's another thing that I would say that we've made a lot of mistakes around growing our business, was trying to just fake it till you make it and not paying for expertise. And so those would be in a lot of areas, that'd be legal, making tax advice. You need to have a good accountant, a good lawyer, and you certainly need to have someone you can count on when you don't know how to do something within the industry itself. But if you don't have a good accountant and a good lawyer, you're
very big.
You're going to find yourself, and it doesn't matter how big you really are, because you're going to have issues and they're going to pop up. I mean,
it could be anything from employees not paying your employees right, then they go to labor board, and then
and I'm going to, one of the questions below
is
about, like, how do you protect yourself? And so we won't give any of those questions or those answers away right now. But I think another big lesson, and it is a story, would be being right about something doesn't always mean that you're going to make the right decision. And I'm not going to make it too cryptic, but there was a time where we had a person that was working with us that did something that we felt was not right,
but wasn't right.
It wasn't right. It absolutely wasn't right, and broke a contract. And instead of having a conversation with them and having, this is what we want, this is the settlement we're willing to accept, if you do that, then this is what, we're going to go away and everything's done, we decided to go legal. And that legal experience to be right, which we ended up prevailing, cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal
that we never got back.
And we never got a penny of anything. So, you really have to, and the lesson there is, get an attorney who's going to tell you the full truth, right? Because the attorney that we had was like, oh, I'm going to go to bat for you. We're going to battle this out. You're going to win. And we knew we were going to win because we were right.
Yeah.
But what he wasn't willing to say is, oh, by the way, when you do win,
you just still owe me $200,000.
You're still going to owe me this much money, and they're going to go bankrupt. So, and you're not going to get a penny. So these are things that, you really need to find people you can trust to bounce things off of. And people who have experience, not just in janitorial, but in business.
And I think that's the big side. It's like you're starting a janitorial business, and it's janitorial. It's still business. The laws that apply to any other business apply to your business. It's still business.
Yep, absolutely.
That means you don't have to find another janitors out there. It's like, hey, you're the janitorial company, what kind of problems? Talk to a business owner, anybody. You got to have somebody that owns a business.
Well, and you'll probably find that most people who own businesses that are operating businesses are making a lot of stupid mistakes, which is something that, as the next question is, what cleaning mistakes do you see other companies making now? How can they be avoided? Cleaning mistakes. What cleaning mistakes are you seeing?
Not having any type of process.
No process.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Not whatsoever. It's like, you know how to clean? Cool. Good, Susie. Go clean. All right. You know how to clean? Go clean. And they just send them on their way, and then they wonder why in 30 days they're getting that cancellation letter.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's weird. Susie did great that night.
Yeah.
Peace. I'm never going to see you again.
I think too, what I see a lot of cleaning companies do is that similar to what you're saying, there's no training, there's no process, there's no policies, there's no system. And so they're creating a bunch of little companies in their one company with the people they have in buildings.
Yes.
So I walk into a building and I see this regularly because like we were just walking in a facility today that is cleaned by the same company, but
the levels are all over the place.
But not a single closet was set up the same way.
Yeah.
They all had different kinds of equipment. Some are clean, some are dirty, some have certain chemicals, some have other chemicals, and I'm like, how? So basically you're creating what the tools, the products, the systems, the processes will be based on the individual you hired. That's a huge error in any company, is that you are changing the way that your standard is set because of the person you put in that position. This seems like you're letting them run your company. So I think that's a mistake, a big time mistake that I see a lot of. I also see people buying really cheap stuff.
Yeah, like we ran into a guy and you were with us yesterday, same facility. He had a household, pet extractor,
like a
portable,
like a Bissell,
portable carpet extractor.
Yeah.
Filled full of black, dirty water. Just
Yeah.
wandering around, sucking some stuff up.
Wow.
I'm like, multi-million-dollar company.
And they're using a Bissell.
Yeah, it was actually made by Sanitor, but yeah, Sanitaire.
Well, still,
And same thing.
it's still not a good
household.
It's still not a good tool. And so I see that too. 99-cent store buying ready-to-use product. They think it's cheaper. It's 99 cents for a bottle when they could use a dilution control system that's 10 cents a bottle, in diluted product. Those kind of things where I'm like, you got to really look at what it's actually costing you to do this, or buying it cheap. We see this a lot with our porters. You see one franchisee that we set a standard, like you have to use this lobby vacuum, right? Like cordless vacuum. And if you let them do their own thing, they're going to go and grab whatever they want. And it's usually a cheap vacuum that takes twice as long to vacuum the same space. And it breaks a lot faster, even though it cost them $100 less.
Like, well, I don't really use it anyway. You should go ahead.
Yeah. Just invest in your equipment. Invest in your processes and your systems. I mean, that's something that we need to do a lot better across the industry. We just need to do a lot better. Anything else you can think of that you're seeing out there, Greg? All right, good. We'll move on.
Yeah, let's move on because there's a lot I could talk about, but let's not.
What are the most common mistakes that cleaning companies are sued for?
Sued for? When we talk security, flooding, buildings, things like that, that's not really a lawsuit unless you don't have insurance.
That's what I was going to put. Not having liability insurance.
Not having liability insurance would probably be the top of the list.
Top of the list.
That's really what you're looking. Not having the proper insurance is going to get you in jail. And then you're looking at labor issues.
Yep.
You have these labor attorneys that, will go for a wage an hour, or, hey, look, you're not giving them their breaks. You're not documenting their breaks. And they see companies like our company as that low-hanging fruit. Hey, we're going to take you to court unless you give me $5,000. Then you do like Matt was saying, you do the thing, here's $5,000, just go away.
Yeah, because if that's going to cost you that much in legal fees, so most companies are like, what do we have to do?
Yeah.
But what I would say to this, and it's a wage an hour in every state. If you're not in California, it's coming. It's going to go everywhere. It doesn't matter because attorneys are looking for something that they can attack and get some easy money for. You need to have a time and attendance system, and you need to have a policy that you will write people up if they do not clock out for lunch.
Yep.
This is one of those most counterintuitive things because we as good employees, if we were working for somebody else, to us, a definition of a good employee is we'll do whatever it takes, right? We got to get something done. I'm going to work through my break and I'm going to get stuff done.
Can't do that.
Right. And so you would think that, well, if I have an employee and they're willing to do whatever it takes and they're willing to work through their break, that should be commended. No, it's not.
It's not.
you have to.
And as a good employer, you need to say, hey, look, we got to take that break.
You need to give them their breaks, their mandated breaks, and they need to record it. Okay, but just like they took an hour break when they should have taken a half an hour, and you write them up, and you have no problem with that.
Yeah.
If they don't take a break, you need to write them up, and you have no problem with that.
Yeah. And you need to have a time and attendance, some sort of timekeeping software.
And, an app-based system is ideal because it also has a GPS, what do they call that? Geofencing, so that you know where they are. And if they go off-site, it will notify you. Yeah, those things are things that are just basics for every employer.
I guess you could use the old-school time clock. That would work too, but you have to have something.
You have to have something. And the old-school time clock systems, the amount of time it takes, you might as well spend the money on a per user cost for a time and
it's not expensive.
And because it's going to be a lot faster to do payroll, way, way, way faster to do payroll. So, but like you said, liability insurance, like most real companies you're going to work for, like they're not going to let you in their building unless you show that you have it.
Yeah.
Do not let it lapse. If you have liability insurance and you let it lapse for a day,
we've had that happen to our franchisees where it lapsed for a day, they had to claim the next day.
I don't know what it is about
going on.
The lack of liability insurance gods that are out there.
They get you.
But the moment that it lapses, there's a flood. So just don't do it. Just make sure you're covered. All right. So what policies can you put in place to protect yourself? Have good employee policies.
Yeah, have policies.
Have policies. Have an employee handbook.
Yeah. Actually have insurance.
Have a big one too, I think, is you got to have solid contracts with your clients.
You do.
If you have a client that is who says, I don't do contracts, I only do handshakes, then we don't do business, like you said.
Because really, if you have a claim, so let's say that you're doing a dealership and somebody runs an auto scrubber into a bunch of toolboxes, and you want to file a claim, but you don't have a contract, like Matt's saying. They're going to go to the dealership like, hey, were they under contract? No, we just have them in here. It's handshake. We pay them.
Yep.
They're going to be like, yeah, thanks. No, you don't have a contract. That's not covered.
Yeah.
You got to have a contract.
Your contract is going, again, the thing with insurance is that the insurance companies are going to do everything they can to not pay the claim.
Everything possible.
So if your contracts are not current, if they're not solid, you're not going to be able to have that liability insurance coverage unless you sue the insurance company.
Good luck.
And good luck ever getting a penny out of them. And then who's stuck with the bill for the liability? It's the contractor.
Yeah. Or the contractor disappears as the customer and he talks to everybody in your neighborhood, your community, about how bad of a company you are. And then good luck.
And you'll likely get sued.
You're definitely getting sued.
So, you've got to have good contracts, have liability insurance, make sure that you are fully compliant in your hiring process with state and federal paperwork for your employees. If you do not have that stuff, it is not filed properly. If you do not have an I-9 filled out in person, you don't have 2 forms of identification, those types of things, like
you don't have an application filled out.
Yeah, you don't have an application filled out. Pay your taxes. You got to pay your taxes.
You got to pay them anyway.
You're going to pay them anyway, whether it be now or it's later with.
And if you can't pay them, pick the phone up and be like, I need to work out a payment plan.
You got to work something out. So, these are things that, and as part of your policies, you need to have a policy where you're checking in with your accountant, 4 times a year to see how you're doing. And if you have, some tax planning, do some tax planning. Figure out, like, what do we need to spend so that we don't have a huge tax debt at the end of the year. Those are things that you definitely want to work on.
And if you're like totally let's say I don't know anyone that I could even talk to about any of this stuff, and I don't know any other business owners, go find your chamber of commerce, walk in and be like, hey, I need help. That's what they're there for.
Yep.
They're going to put you into the right person, be like, hey, this is who you should talk to. A lot of times these chambers have like business owner communities where they all come together once a week and they all talk about the stuff that they're struggling with. And I guarantee there's going to be someone there to talk to.
Yeah. Well,
they're going to talk to you. You get small business owner grants or whatever it is. So just Start getting out there and asking questions.
And this goes back to question number one. What's the biggest mistake that we've made is that we never asked for help because we were told we were taught like just figure it out. So it's if you want to go from point A to point B a lot faster, you need to begin to
ask someone
who's at point B, and you need to trust and you need to apply. And not be like, that doesn't sound like something that I could do, or that guy's full of it, because, it's like,
And another thing about protection, get yourself an LLC at the very, very least.
Yeah.
Don't go to the city hall and I got to get myself a sole proprietorship. Basically what you're saying is come sue me, take all my stuff. Well, I don't have anything. Well, you'll even have less if you screw up.
Yeah.
It's not even $500, to be honest with you. If you do it right, it's about $200. Spend the money, get yourself an LLC. It'll protect you. If something does happen, you're like, this didn't work out. The LLC is like its own little standalone person.
Yep.
Let the LLC deal with that.
Exactly.
I mean,
so LLC, we talked about have a good accountant, have a good lawyer, pay your taxes, make sure you have all your payroll stuff set up, you have your wage and hour stuff figured out with time and attendance.
And start Googling this stuff. Look it up.
Yeah.
Google business laws or employee law in whatever state you're in or whatever zip code you're in. It's going to give you the latest stuff that's happening because things change so much and you don't want to be caught out. Oh, you were supposed to be paying me, like in California, $20 an hour, and you're only paying me $15. It's like, well, that's if I only have X amount of employees. Whatever it is, spend that time instead of sitting there watching General Hospital.
Yep.
And learn a little bit.
Yep. So, good stuff. Guess what? It's time for this or that.
It's that time again.
It is that time.
It's that time again.
And I don't know any of the answers.
Oh, my goodness.
So let's see what you got today.
So I've got a couple from Matt that are a little bit different. These are coming right off something else. I don't like to give them always to him written out. So would you rather have an extra nose, so one more nose, or have all your teeth fall out? Fall out, not knocked out. We're not talking about Mike Tyson's punch out over here.
No. I'm going to say I'll have all my teeth fall out because I can get implants.
Dude, you read my mind.
Boom. What's up?
The same thing. I get some veneers.
Yeah, get some veneers. You're good.
You can get some gold ones, say OctoClean.
You're going to get an Octo Grill.
Okay. Only be able to walk backwards, or have your shoes filled with baked beans all the time.
Oh, my God. Who makes this stuff up?
I didn't make these up this time.
I know.
You wear flip-flops. You wear flip-flops, and the baked beans aren't going to go anywhere to be dirty, though.
Baked beans in your shoes all the time or walk backwards.
That's a difficult one.
I don't know, man. I guess if I wore boots, then no one would know I'm actually walking in baked beans. Like, I'm thinking, like, optics-wise, like, you got to continue to do business. I'm
going to go with baked beans, but I'm always going to wear flip-flops.
No, because your feet would be covered in baked beans. Like, you don't want that.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm going to go with baked beans, but I'm always
wear Uggs.
I'm always going to wear boots because, I might smell a little bit like baked beans.
Do baked beans smell?
You
get the barbecue ones?
The barbecue ones are like some bacon.
Hungry.
Some like, dude, don't even talk to me.
You have some toe jam baked beans for lunch?
Oh, it would stay warm. All right, anyway.
All right, let's move on from toe jam baked beans. Have a mullet or always be too hot.
So basically, be a menopausal woman or be my son. Well, he used to have a mullet.
Now he kind of has like a Patrick Mahomes, but like super curly.
I'm gonna go with man. I'm gonna say I hope to God that you have a mullet.
I'm going with a mullet.
You have no hair, bro.
I'm gonna go with a mullet. Remember Mr. Crandall had like a bald head with the long hair in the back. Our science teacher.
Yeah, I do. I remember.
Yeah, it kind of wasn't a mullet.
Oh no, but what this is saying is that you get a full hair transplant,
full on mullet. You're rocking it. Like Joe Dirt.
I like the mullet option too, because that could be a vibe, you know. Like you might like it's like the cleaning thing, you know, Joe Dirt. Like
I think it would drive me crazy because I just can't handle like messy hair. I was thinking that today. Like the good thing about having no hair is like you can roll with the windows down, and then go to an appointment. And your hair's not messed up.
I just wear a hat.
It's before an appointment.
Like, no, and I don't have my windows down before an appointment. But what do you think this is? This isn't a movie. Like I'm not rolling around like okay. All right. Okay. Who rolls their windows down?
I roll my windows down.
Because you have no hair. All right. Moving on.
Hair.
What other questions you got? That it?
Eat a tarantula. Last one. Eat a tarantula or drink from the toilet that Keenan cleaned.
Was the tarantula alive?
It won't be after you eat it. So let's say the tarantula's dead right now. I'm not going to like, hey, tarantula, come here.
I'm gonna drink from the toilet after somebody cleans it. I'm not eating a tarantula, dude. Like, after someone cleans it. It's not potable water. I mean, it's like drinking water.
I don't like spiders.
I hate spiders.
Drink from the toilet.
I hate spiders.
I'm gonna drink from the toilet.
Yeah, and I that's something that I can handle.
Not our warehouse toilet though.
Holy. Oh, I was gonna mention something to you about that.
I took a picture and sent it to Nico.
Holy moly! Anyway. Back on topic.
We'll have to cut that one out.
You know what? If you got to replace fixtures, it's bad. Clean. You got to clean. Anyway, Nico, please don't. I hope you're not watching this. Okay, so we're gonna roll into some questions now. So from NVO James asks, I know you guys use Waxy. Do you have any opinion on? It says Simply Green, but I'm going to say Simple Green.
I think it's really strong, man. I'm not a fan. I don't think I would use it for commercial cleaning. I don't think I would use it for. Really, there's nothing I would use it for. So back in the day, maybe, but I don't remember it doing good on anything.
So I use it at home sometimes.
Strip the paint off something.
Well. I use it at home sometimes, and I don't really know like how. I think I just saw it at Lowe's or Home Depot or something, and I'm like, oh, Simple Green, that looks familiar. So I just picked it up because I didn't want to buy Zep, right? And you would think, well, just go to the office and get product, but I didn't. So I had Simple Green. Man, I think I used it like actually probably to strip paint off of like an old piece of like antique something or other. I would not use it. And it has such a distinct smell that I think a lot of people don't like. So
it seems like it should be like it's saying green, like a green chemical safe for the environment, which it says it is, like for near the ocean and things like that.
Their corporate office is right between Huntington Beach
and
Seal Beach,
and that's why I always see it. And I'm like,
you better not dump any of that into the water because it just seems
swamp thing's going to jump out of the.
Yeah, it just seems to me like it's like toxic. But it's probably not. I'm sorry, Simple Green. I'm not trying to say anything that it is or it isn't. It's just I think the smell, like in our industry, no smell is clean.
Exactly.
And so if you're trying to cover it up with fragrance,
I don't think it's even fragrance.
It's not even fragrance.
Chemical composition.
It smells like chemical. It smells like that. So I would say that's our opinion. We are not trying to defame Simple Green in any way, shape, or form. Okay, this asterisk, Simple Green, stay away. All right, add user PC2DB5L8.
They use that password. They put their password in.
So, sorry we gave your password out. And this person asks, can you give out my password? Oh, no, that's not what it said.
It is, no.
If you're a solo cleaner, do you do the whole office trash, whole office wipe dust, the whole vacuum, or do you go room by room?
We have videos on that on YouTube.
So, we're going to answer the question, though. So, what the answer to that question is that you've got these great training cards, starter, closer, and Sanator. Now, these are positions, right? Not people. So when you're cleaning a building as a team of one, what do? You
do all of starter, all of closer, all of Sanator.
Right. So yes, the answer is you're doing all of trash and dust and wipe down, you're doing all of the restrooms, and then you're doing all of the closeout work, which is going to be floors, mopping, vacuuming, all of that kind of stuff. And if you do it any other way, then you're going to spend a lot more time.
Yeah, you will.
And you're going to leave stuff behind, right? So you've got, just think of it. You've got in a room, I've got to clean a counter, empty trash, mop a floor, sweep and dust mop or vacuum a floor.
Then you move it all this stuff.
And then you're moving it to the next area. So I'm going from room to room. And so I'm having to collect all my stuff and go to the next room. Collect all my stuff and go to the next room. It's just not productive. And you're going to end up leaving a broom, or you're going to end up leaving a bottle or a trash bag.
It's going to take too much time. It's going to drive you berserk.
You're going to go crazy. It's just, you have to do it all together. And so,
leading into that, Matt, why don't you tell us about
what we're going to do with these training cards? Because if you have,
they are available in our store, but we're going to do a special here today.
Yeah, we're going to give these cards away to one lucky commenter. Commenter. Is that a word? I don't know. Anyway, if you make a comment, there we go. We need to have 50 comments. Once we have the 50 comments, so the comment you're going to leave is, what
is the biggest mistake you've ever made?
What is the biggest mistake that you've made in your company? And don't go crazy here.
It doesn't need to be a paragraph.
Like
hiring my uncle would be a good example.
Hiring my brother. Just kidding. Bro, come on, bro. I'm just messing with you.
Well, we could say we have another.
Oh, Shane, are you watching? Okay. Hiring our other brother. Anyway, so leave a comment. After we get to 50, we're going to go through and randomly choose a person, and we're going to send you some training cards. Okay. And we're going to send you the digital version so that you can print as many as you want. So, that's good. Hopefully you guys can win that. All right. So, am I on the right one? Yes. Okay. That's all we got for the day, Greg.
That's it.
All we got. This one was a little faster. This topic was pretty tough. I mean, not as fun as some of the
Not as fun, but
this is important stuff.
We did learn today that Matt will drink toilet water, and that our restroom in the back looks terrible.
And yes, we did learn that. And we also learned that Greg will wear flip-flops with beans in them.
I will,
which is really weird. But
strange.
We want to thank everybody for watching or listening to this episode of the OctoClean Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment with the topics you want to discuss next time. If you're listening, don't forget to rate and review the podcast. And as always, we'll see you next time. Thank you so much. We'll see you later.